Too. Wow.
It's time to show off your skills.
Okay. Welcome everyone. This is Joy of Joy Morris Beauty, and in this video I'm going to be talking a little bit about my recent pregnancy as well as sharing my birth story. So stay tuned. So many of you are aware that I was recently pregnant and that I recently gave birth. I was very vocal on the channel just about that and announcing my pregnancy, and I talked a little bit about the blanket that I was making for my baby girl and all those different types of things. But you may have noticed towards the end of last year, I had a bit of a gap in my content creation. I'm usually pretty regular, and pretty consistent with posting videos on a regular basis. And then there was just kind of like silence for months. So I had a few things going on that I wanted to share. But before I even get there, I want to kind of backtrack to the beginning of my pregnancy. This is actually my third pregnancy. So they say that everyone has a potential to be different, and this one was definitely different from the ones that I experienced before. I know I had really, really bad morning sickness for about half of the pregnancy. Just even bright lights made me nauseous. It was just rough. And then once I felt like I was getting over that, I started experiencing mobility issues where my hip joints actually separated, and I had to go to physical therapy for several times a week just to maintain a bit of mobility so that I could get around. So once I kind of had that hurdle under control, I went for a routine checkup with my doctor, and she noticed a personal, medical issue with me where she was kind of concerned that I might give birth early. So she wanted me to go to the maternal fetal specialist. But I met with her so much that I started kind of learning her facial expressions, and I could tell at this appointment that my OBGYN seemed kind of worried. And to see her look a little worried, it made me worry. So I, with my son that I've shown on the channel before a couple of times, I actually went into, I gave birth to him preterm, a little bit, slightly preterm. And I was actually hospitalized for several weeks. So I was kind of concerned after meeting with my doctor that might be somewhere on the horizon for me. So I went home, we packed my hospital bag and just ordered, everything that we needed for my daughter, just kind of as a contingency. So sure enough, when I met with the maternal fetal specialist, the specialist doctor, she made the decision due to what was going on with me physically that I needed to be on hospitalized bed rest for a whole month. Which I was like, what? I just kind of flipped out. I started crying. I started sobbing. It was kind of like a bit of a mess. So they gave me like 2 hours to go home and to pack my bags and basically to report to the hospital. I cried and sobbed on my husband's shoulder more times than I can count. And with me being put in the hospital and immediately kind of taken out of, my home, immediately I had to kind of drop everything at work and just focus on being on bed rest and the medical supervision in the hospital. My husband, basically, who I like to call him Superman because he's just wonderful. He just took on everything. He took on, my mom duties at home with my son. He literally just did everything. He came to visit me in the hospital each day. He's just so kind and, just so understanding and compassionate. So he really was just kind of like the glue holding us together through this whole experience, because I kind of had days where I was up and days where I was kind of down, to be honest with you, because it's not easy being in the hospital on bed rest. No matter what your medical condition is, it's not easy. But since I had been through it before with my son, I kind of knew, some things that I knew I need to do for myself to keep myself up mentally, and kind of psychologically keep myself together. So the video that I did on the blanket that I was working on for my baby girl, I made that like a priority while I was in the hospital. I worked on it hours and hours each day. And I finished that one up in a couple of weeks, which was great. So then I got to make a blanket for my son. And then I made him like a Superman inspired blanket, and I got that one done. Some other things that I did while I was in the hospital, being true to my YouTube channel, I stayed really, really closely to like my own personal self-care routine. I did my lashes in the hospital. I did my nails in the hospital. I wore my perfume every day. I got up. The only thing I could do was go to the bathroom. So I took my shower in the morning around the same time that I would typically go to work to kind of keep myself like mentally up. I made sure to just kind of avoid anything negative, to just keep myself in a great mood, and just look forward to, each day when my husband would come, my son would come to the hospital and visit with me. So that ended up being like a big lifeline for me. In addition to the medical staff of the hospital just being wonderful. I got to see my doctor every day. She came to my room every day. It was just really, really great. So I stuck to the letter of everything that I was told to do, and everything that I had to do when I was in the hospital. And I made it to 34 weeks, which was the goal between my doctor and the specialist.
The bracelet will be for Hope because Hope will love it.
Oh, why did you make it look like that?
Because I spelled her name and put some beans on the bracelet and thus he'll put the color blue. Because this bracelet looks cool for Hope.
It does. I got home 34 weeks. I was still in bed rest, but like a lighter version of bed rest where they actually let you do it at home. So we're just at home, just kind of home doing what we do. And then I woke up this one morning and I just didn't really know what was going on with me physically. I couldn't tell if my water had broke or not. I couldn't tell. I was like, what's going on with me? I don't know what's going on with me. Things are just kind of different physically for me this morning. I have seen depicted on TV so many times when women's water break, and it's like this gush of water, like they're at Six Flags on a water ride.
No way! She peed! Her water broke.
And so I always in my mind had pictured like, when you go into labor, it's something crazy like that, because I never had that type of labor experience before. I wasn't having any pain. So we were just kind of getting up, going through our regular motions. I was back at home. So, I was back working, and things like that. It was just a normal weekday, taking my son to school and things like that. So, I just told my husband, I was like, I'm not sure, what's going on with me. I think I probably should go to the hospital. I wasn't having any pain. So my husband stayed with our son and, took him to school. And then I drove to the hospital, which is only about maybe 4 minutes from our house. And that ended up being a big mistake on my part. So within that 4-minute drive, I went from no pain at all to having very intense pain. I almost got in a car accident on the way to the hospital. It was crazy. Now that did turn into something out of a movie. I pulled up to the ER, hopped out my car. There was like one spot in front of the ER. I walked hobbled into the ER and I could barely get it out as I was like starting to cry. I was like, I think I'm in labor. I was just trying to figure out what was going on with me. I didn't know. I said, maybe this is labor, maybe it's not. I don't know what's going on. So they wheelchaired me up to labor and delivery. And then they started, taking my vitals and just monitoring everything. And I went from no pain leaving the hospital to contractions every 5 minutes, literally in about an hour. It happened so fast. My birth, once I kind of got to the point of getting birth, everything was just happening lightning fast. It was almost like I couldn't even believe it. I was like, wow, I'm actually about to give birth. She's actually about to be here. So they called my doctor. She came, and they were just, working with me to give birth. And, she was just ready to come out. And she did. She came out very quickly. It was a whirlwind of a day. My husband, who has been there every step of the way, he was right there, which was amazing too. And I just couldn't be, you know, any more grateful for how everything came out. It was just like going from the intense pain of the contractions to like this intense state of euphoria when she was born, hearing her cry. And then the first thing, you know, my doctor said was, "Oh, look at all that hair," and just, you know, seeing all her hair come out. You know, and then they put her, you know, on my chest, and, you know, she was just so warm, and I was just still in shock. Like, did I just give birth? Like, that was my first thought. I'm like, did I really just give birth? But I did, and everything went so well. We were so incredibly blessed with such an amazing, beautiful little girl.
Hey, we're so happy to meet you.
Welcome to the world, Miss Hope. You happy to be here?
I'm very happy to be here.
And here she is right here. This is our little Hope Catherine. That is her name. She's asleep right now, as you can see. We named her after both of our moms. So my mother and also my mother-in-law actually have already passed on, but you know, we wanted to kind of continue their names and continue their legacy, and kind of the heritage that they gave us, you know, and really make sure to pass that down to the next generation. So Hope is my mother-in-law's middle name, and Catherine was my mother's first name. So Hope Catherine, and she is just such a wonderful, beautiful addition to our family. We feel so incredibly blessed, each and every one of us, and just kind of getting to know her. She's a strong baby. She is probably going to be an opera singer because she has a strong voice. She lets her presence be known, and she lets you, you know what she has going. If she needs something, she's going to let you know about it. So she is just beautiful, and a complete joy. And like I said, it's just not really any words to describe, you know, how we felt. Just the blessings of God, they just keep coming and coming. So I just wanted to share her with you all, a little bit of her story, and just so you can see her. She is beautiful and precious, and hear her little baby sounds. And we're just getting to know her a little bit more as she grows day by day. So thanks so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below, and take care. Bye.